American phenomenon Ilia Malinin hit a wall the second he stepped onto Olympic ice, sending a shockwave through a stadium that had practically crowned him champion long before the 2026 Games even began. Soviet coaching icon Tatyana Tarasova delivered a brutal verdict regarding the state of the men's short program during the team event at the 2026 Winter Games, while Yuma Kagiyama reportedly left spectators and officials absolutely mesmerized, laying down a short program that was nothing less than a technical masterpiece. The mood shifted. Witnessing Malinin's meltdown marked a historic first. Never before has the quad god shown such visible fractures.
In my eyes, he looked completely drained of energy.
And void
Nobody
his
saw that
usual
coming.
explosive
What is
power,
the reason?
A collapse nobody predicted. The question is why. It remains unclear when Malinin arrived in Italy or how his acclimatization timeline played out. Perhaps the adjustment period was botched, resulting in the most lackluster showing of his entire career. The electricity simply wasn't there. The conversation now shifts to whether Petr Gumennik can genuinely challenge titans like Malinin and Kagiyama in this landscape, especially given the controversy forcing Petr to scrap his music choice at the 11th hour.
Do you grasp the gravity of that
disruption
change?
Cannot be overstated. Experts emphasize that Malinin has never appeared this out of sync before. Historically, a clean Malinin is untouchable. Yet Milan witnessed a catastrophic error in the short program. Is Gumennik a legitimate medal contender? Without a doubt. He is right in the mix with the rest of the field. But the circumstances surrounding him are unprecedented. Petr performed this identical routine during the Olympic trials. The very same panel of judges and officials presided there, raising zero objections regarding his track. It wasn't even a whisper of an issue. Then reports surfaced claiming a specific ban on Russian athletes utilizing that music appeared just yesterday. Whether this constitutes political maneuvering is a debate for another time. The clock is ticking. The focus now must be on Petr's psychological resilience. Tarasova pointed out that Malinin has been the gravitational center of these games, a spotlight the favorite has embraced willingly. He seems comfortable basking in the deity-like status carefully cultivated by his PR machine. While rivals go into lockdown mode, Malinin broadcasts his every move.
His energy to the globe every chance he gets.
At every opportunity.
For instance, the quad god as Malinin styles.
He took to social media to flaunt yellow laces, a gift from hockey legend Alexander Ovechkin during his debut practice.
Ovechkin during his first Olympic practice.
He was also seen chopping it up with Team USA's honorary coach, the iconic Snoop Dogg.
At a presser, he even teased a potential quintuple flip in Milan, saying, "I am thinking about it."
He suggested that if conditions were perfect, history might be made describing skating as an extension of his soul. Then he dropped the bombshell, promising a quad-axel combination for the team event. This declaration baffled analysts who remembered his shaky performance at Nationals, where the quad-axel was noticeably absent. In that free skate, he attempted only 3 quads, a stark regression from the 7 clean jumps he landed the previous year.
7 clean quads he landed last year. He later spun the simplified routine.
However, the idea that he lowered the difficulty simply because he had no competition holds little water. A psychological trap exists here. Once an athlete takes their foot off the gas, redlining the engine again is rarely simple. This logic explains why Petr Gumennik consistently forced a 5-quad layout even at smaller events. He understood that the body must normalize that extreme intensity so that on the biggest stage, it feels routine. When the music started for the team event, Malinin left his signature weapon in the holster, no quadruple axel to be found. And the performance was messy and under-rotated quad lutz combination paired with a sloppy triple axel that the judges absolutely hammered.
If anyone looked like a deity on the ice that day, it was Japan's Yuma Kagiyama.
Yuma Kagiyama looked simply untouchable. He executed every element with surgical precision, burying Malinin in the standings by a humiliating margin of over 10 points. Frankly, without the Malinin hype train and reputation shielding him, he would have been staring at a 20 or 25-point deficit. The press pack descended on Malinin in the mixed zone, like sharks desperate to know why the gold medal favorite just crashed and burned. Ilia didn't flinch, sticking to a rehearsed narrative about how winning wasn't even the objective, claiming he was just out there prioritizing his own health.
I am super happy with what I put out there because it is only 50% of my potential.
He was barely operating at 50% capacity. That logic doesn't hold water. When a competitor wants to conserve the tank, they water down the technical content. They don't go out there and face plant. They land the easier jumps with clean execution. The two-time world champion also baffled the room by insisting the quad axel was never part of the flight plan, leaving analysts who scrutinized his submitted layout wondering if he'd even bother showing up for the free skate. But barely a heartbeat later, once the bottom 5 nations were cut from the herd, the script flipped. There it was on the updated roster for the free program, Malinin's name locked and loaded. It suggests the brass at US figure skating might have dragged him into a back room for a reality check, after his nonchalant approach to the short program allowed Japan to kick down the door and threaten the gold medal hunt. Heading into these games, an American coronation felt like a done deal. But standing on the precipice of the final showdown that Stars and Stripes advantage looks terrifyingly fragile. And that cushion could vanish into thin air before the men's event even begins. When that moment comes, Malinin can't play games anymore, he has to deliver. If that shaky opener proved one thing, it's that the Olympic pressure cooker is real. The 5 rings transform the ice into a completely different battlefield. Even the self-proclaimed quad god admitted the atmosphere was suffocating him. All that posturing might just be a smokescreen to vent the nervous energy. It's a defense mechanism fueled by a very old, very bitter grudge.
Rewind 4 years to the lead-up for Beijing.
A 17-year-old phenom takes silver at nationals, screaming to the world that he's ready for the main stage. But the selectors left him at home rolling the dice on Vincent Zhou and Jason Brown to back up Nathan Chen instead. Logically, it made sense at the time he was considered too much of a loose cannon. But make no mistake, that kind of rejection scars a competitor turning into premium fuel for the fire. For those eagerly awaiting Petr Gumennik's turn, let Malinin stumble serve as a cautionary tale. You never hang the medal around a skater's neck until the music stops. On the flip side, you can't wave the white flag before your blades even hit the ice. Former Russian competitor Gleb Smolkin is battling his own demons away from the rink, caught in a legal snarl regarding the copyright for his perfume routine soundtrack. Then again, if Malinin wipes out like that again, Gumennik could probably beat him skating to dead silence. Switching lanes to the ice dance, we watched the Georgian pair Diana Davis and Gleb Smolkin, those Russian expats now representing Georgia, clawing their way to 4th. In the team free dance here in Milan Cortina, posting a solid 117.82. But the real story was the American juggernaut Madison Chock and Evan Bates crushing the field with a monster score of 133.23.
The home crowd favorites, Italy's Charlene Guignard and Marco Fabbri, slid into second
with 124.22, just edging out the Canadians, Marjorie Lajoie and Zachary Lager, who put up 120.90. Zooming out, Team USA sits in the driver's seat with 44 points, leaving Japan. Chasing in the rear view at 39, followed by Italy with 37, Canada at 35, and Georgia bringing up the rear with 32. The tension hits a fever pitch this Sunday as pairs, women and men, storm the ice for the ultimate showdown in the free skate. Japanese phenomenon Yuma Kagiyama revealed the internal battleground he faced, admitting the pressure nearly broke him before the short program began. He tried to force a mindset of enjoyment, repeating mantras to simply soak it in, though he struggled to believe his own inner monologue. The reality was stark. Early nerves pierced his defenses, driven by an atmosphere vastly more suffocating than the Games 4 years prior. This campaign was defined by the collective, a squad united by a singular mission and an ironclad resolve to bring the medal home together. With the United States holding a razor-thin 2-point lead, Kagiyama felt the crushing weight of expectations settle on his shoulders. He understood clearly that his performance was the critical weapon needed to bridge that agonizing distance. Carrying the hopes of the entire team rattled his composure to its very core. Yet the electric surge from the Milan crowd and the thunderous support from the Japanese contingent washed the anxiety away. Fueled by that adrenaline, he found the power to surrender to the moment, allowing his instincts to take over and flow naturally. When executing the heavy artillery, the quads, and that triple axel, he maintained a laser focus while projecting an illusion of effortless grace. The instant his blade kissed the ice on that final landing, the colossal burden vanished, leaving only triumph in its wake.